Big news in the world of golf late last night. Five-time major champion Brooks Koepka has quit LIV Golf.
It finally happened. The moment the golf world whispered about, speculated on, and secretly waited for has just exploded into reality. Brooks Koepka, the five-time major champion, the face of the rebellion, and the man who arguably gave LIV Golf its legitimacy, has officially quit the league. This isn't a rumor. This isn't an anonymous source. As of December 23, 2025, Koepka is out. He has walked away from a reported $100 million contract with a year left on the table. But if you think this is just a simple change of heart, you aren't looking close enough. This story is infinitely darker and more complicated than a simple press release. We are talking about a mix of personal tragedy, a complete collapse in performance, and a secret buyer's remorse that has been rotting away at Koepka's career for 2 years. He didn't just leave LIV, he escaped it. And the price he might pay for this freedom could be his entire career. Why would a man walk away from guaranteed millions? Why is the PGA Tour refusing to welcome him back with open arms? And what happened behind closed doors that made Brooks Koepka hit the eject button? Let's go back to the moment the news dropped. It was a Tuesday afternoon, a time when sports news is usually dead. LIV Golf and Brooks Koepka released a joint statement that felt strange. It was too clean, too corporate. The statement claimed the split was amicable and mutual. It said Brooks was leaving to prioritize the needs of his family. Now, in the world of PR, amicable is usually code for a massive settlement behind the scenes. Remember, LIV Golf is not a standard league. It is funded by the Saudi Public Investment Fund. You don't just break a contract with them and walk away smiling unless something major has shifted. Koepka had 1 full year left on his contract, which was set to run through the 2026 season. By walking away now, he is potentially forfeiting tens of millions of dollars. For a guy who once famously said he played golf just to cash checks, this is a complete reversal of character. But here's where it gets interesting. Just hours after Koepka's announcement, the PGA Tour released their own statement. And it was cold. It was icy. Instead of saying, "Welcome home, Brooks," they essentially said, "Brooks is a great player, and we wish him the best." That's it. No welcome mat, no open door. The golf world is currently in a state of shock because this breaks the one rule LIV relied on. Once they buy you, they own you. Brooks just proved that wrong. But to understand why he pulled the ripcord now, we have to look at the cracks that have been forming in his life, both on and off the course, for the last 24 months. But that wasn't the whole story. The family reasons, cited in the press release, aren't just an excuse. They mask a heartbreaking reality that changed everything for him. It is easy to look at athletes as robots who exist only to entertain us, but 2025 was a nightmare year for the Koepka family personally. While the headlines today are about contracts and golf leagues, the real driver here is likely much more human. Earlier this year, Brooks's wife, Jenna Sims, revealed a devastating personal loss, a miscarriage that happened while the couple was navigating the chaotic travel schedule of a global tour. This is the part of the story the critics often ignore. LIV Golf isn't just a US tour. It requires global travel to Australia, Asia, the Middle East, and Europe. For a family dealing with grief and trying to raise their young son, Crew, that schedule isn't just a job, it's a burden. Koepka has always been a family-first guy in his interviews, but the tragedy of 2025 likely flipped a switch. Suddenly, the extra $10 million didn't matter. The private jets didn't matter. Being stuck in a hotel room in Jeddah while your family is hurting in Florida changes your perspective on what success looks like. Insiders have noted that Brooks has looked different this year. The swagger was gone. The jock energy that made him famous was replaced by a 1,000-yard stare. He wasn't engaging with the trash talk. He wasn't fighting with the media. He looked checked out. And this aligns perfectly with the statement about staying closer to home. The PGA Tour, for all its flaws, is largely a domestic tour. You can play in Florida, drive home, and sleep in your own bed. LIV never offered that luxury. But while the personal tragedy explains the why now, it doesn't explain the professional frustration that has been building since the day he signed that contract. Because let's be honest, Brooks Koepka hated LIV Golf almost from the moment he joined. Let's be real about who Brooks Koepka is. He is a major championship assassin. He lives for the booing, the pressure, the hate, and the history. He wants to win the US Open at a historic course with thousands of fans screaming against him. What he got at LIV was music, shorts, teams, and a shotgun start. From the very beginning, rumors swirled that Brooks had buyer's remorse. When he joined in 2022, he was injured. He thought his knees were gone. He thought his career as a dominant player was over, so he took the guaranteed money as an insurance policy. It was a business decision. But then he got healthy. He won the PGA Championship in 2023, and suddenly he realized he was still the alpha dog. But he was stuck in a league that he clearly didn't respect. Watch his interviews from the last 2 years. Whenever asked about his LIV team, Smash GC, he rolled his eyes. He publicly feuded with his own teammate, Matthew Wolff, calling him a quitter and a waste of talent. That is not something a happy captain does. Brooks is a lone wolf. The idea of team golf where he has to care about 3 other guys' scores never sat right with him. He hated the mandatory parties. He hated the forced camaraderie. He is a grinder, not a content creator. There is a growing belief that Koepka looked around at the exhibition style of LIV, the lack of cuts, the guaranteed paychecks, and realized it was making him soft. He is a player who needs fear to perform. He needs the fear of missing the cut. He needs the fear of failure. LIV took that fear away, and in doing so, it took away his edge. And if you need proof that LIV was ruining his game, you just have to look at the scoreboard from 2025. It wasn't just a bad year, it was a career-ending trajectory. If you are Brooks Koepka, you measure your life in major championships. Nothing else counts. He has said it himself 1,000 times, I only care about the majors. So let's look at 2025. It was a disaster. He missed the cut in 3 of the 4 major championships. For a guy who used to finish in the top 5 almost automatically, this was shocking. He looked lost. His swing was off, his putting was cold, but mostly, his fight was gone. Critics have been saying this for years. You cannot play giggle golf for 48 weeks a year and then expect to flip a switch and beat Scotty Scheffler or Xander Schauffele at the Masters. The PGA Tour players are grinding every single week against the deepest fields in history. They are sharpening their skills on the hardest courses. Meanwhile, Brooks was playing 54-hole events on resort courses with wide fairways. When he arrived at the majors this year, he looked unprepared. The sharpness wasn't there. He finished 34th in the LIV individual standings this season, 34th, in a field of 54 players. That is embarrassing for a 5-time major winner. This decline likely terrified him more than anything else. Brooks cares about his legacy. He wants to be mentioned in the same breath as Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus. He realized that if he stayed at LIV for another 3 years, he wouldn't just be rich. He would be irrelevant. He would be a washed-up ex-star who took the money and let his game rot. Leaving LIV is his desperate attempt to save his career before it's too late. But there is a massive problem. He quit LIV, but he doesn't have a place to play. He might have just walked into a trap. Here's the twist that makes this story so tense. Brooks Koepka is currently a man without a tour. He resigned his PGA Tour membership when he left in 2022. He didn't just leave, he sued them as part of the antitrust lawsuit initially. Bridges were burned. Napalm was dropped on those bridges. The current PGA Tour rules are strict. Any player who defected to LIV must wait 1 full year after their last LIV event before they can even apply to return. Koepka played his last LIV event in August 2025. That means technically, he is ineligible to play on the PGA Tour until August 2026. Think about that. One of the best players of his generation might be sitting on his couch for the next 9 months. He can play the majors because he is a past champion, but he cannot play the warm-up events. He cannot play the Arnold Palmer Invitational. He cannot play the Memorial. He will be showing up to the Masters cold with 0 tournament reps. And don't expect the PGA Tour to bend the rules for him. The Tour is currently in intense negotiations with the Saudi PIF. If they make a special exception for Brooks, it weakens their hand. They need to make an example of him. They need to show the other players, Rahm, Bryson, Cameron Smith, that if you leave, you can't just waltz back in whenever you feel like it. Brooks knows this. He knows he is facing a year of exile. The fact that he still quit LIV, knowing he might not play for a year, shows just how desperate he was to get out. He chose unemployment over LIV Golf. That is the ultimate indictment of the Rebel League. So what does this mean for the future of professional golf? Brooks Koepka was the first massive domino to fall toward LIV. Now he is the first domino to fall away from it. This sends a wave of panic through the LIV locker room. If the guy who was the face of the cool anti-establishment movement hates it enough to quit, who is next? Rumors are already starting about Bryson DeChambeau and even Jon Rahm looking for exit clauses. LIV Golf loses its legitimacy without Koepka. He was the one guy who brought a sense of danger and grit to the league. Without him, it becomes even more of an exhibition. On the flip side, this is a massive win for the PGA Tour legacy, even if they act cool about it. They proved that history, legacy, and competition matter more than guaranteed cash. But for Brooks personally, the road ahead is foggy. He has to rebuild his game in the shadows. He has to deal with the critics who will call him a hypocrite for taking the money and then running back. He has to navigate a year of silence. Brooks Koepka has always been an enigma. He is the guy who acts like he doesn't care, yet cares more than anyone. He is the guy who chased the money, only to realize the money couldn't buy the one thing he needed: respect. Today's news is the end of the LIV honeymoon. The check cleared, but the reality set in. Brooks Koepka is going home. He is prioritizing his family. He is trying to salvage his game, and he is trying to rewrite the end of his story. It won't be easy. The PGA Tour might make him beg. The fans might boo him. But if we know anything about Brooks Koepka, it's that he plays his best golf when the whole world is against him. He's betting on himself one last time. And honestly, that's the most Brooks Koepka thing he could possibly do. What do you think? Will the PGA Tour let him back in early? Or will they force him to sit out the year as punishment? And does this mean LIV Golf is officially dying? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one.